In this video, we are going to learn about the trade payables turnover ratio and working capital turnover ratio. So let's start with trade payables turnover ratio. Now, trade payables includes creditors and bills payable, which is a part of current liability. Now, when we mention about these two things, creditors and bills payable, that indicates that the firm has made some credit purchase. So, the trade payables is a relation between net credit purchase and average trade payables. So, how to find out the net credit purchase? That is, from the total purchase, if I deduct the purchase return and cash purchases, we'll get the net credit purchase. Next, average trade payables is equals to opening trade payables plus closing trade payables divided by 2. Now, what is the intention of finding this trade payables turnover ratio? Is to check that whether the firm is efficient enough to pay or manage its trade payables. A high ratio is indicating that the firm is making early payments, or the firm is getting less time for making the payment. Whereas a low ratio indicates that either the firm is making delay in making the payments, or the firm is getting a longer time period to make its payment. So let's start with the question. Question number 71 from DK Goyal. Calculate trade payables turnover ratio and average payment period from the following. So we have total purchase 24 lakh, cash purchase 6 lakh 40,000, purchase return, that is out of credit purchase 60,000, opening balance of creditors 3 lakh, opening balance of bills payable 20,000, closing balance of creditors 3 lakh 50,000, closing balance of bills payable 10,000. So instead of giving us opening trade payables and closing trade payables, they have given us this amount separately. And also in the question there is no credit purchase mentioned. So what we'll do is first we'll find out the net credit purchase. So from the total purchase we'll deduct cash purchase and purchase return. So this will give us rupees 17 lakh as the net credit purchase. Average trade payables, so we'll add all the opening and closing balance of creditors and bills payable and divide it by 2, which will give us the amount 3,40,000. So just putting it in the formula, trade payables turnover ratio is equals to net credit purchase divided by average trade payables. That is 17 lakh divided by 3,40,000 is equals to 5 times. Average payment period. So finding out average payment period is number of days divided by trade payables turnover ratio, which is 365 divided by 5 will give us 73 days. This indicates that the firm is getting 73 days to pay off its liabilities. Next topic is about working capital turnover ratio. Now, the objective of finding this ratio is to ascertain whether the working capital has been used or utilized efficiently in making sales. So the formula is revenue from operation or net sales divided by working capital. And we already know that working capital is equals to current assets minus current liabilities. So the working capital actually tells us about the money the firm has to bear its day-to-day expenses or day-to-day working of the firm. So let's start with question number 73. Calculate working capital turnover ratio. We have inventory 3,10,000, trade receivables 1,30,000, cash 20,000. So these are the amount of current assets given. Trade payables 60,000. Cost of revenue from operation is 30,40,000. Now cost of goods sold is given in the question, and gross profit is 24% of revenue from operation, that is 24% of sales. Now again, as in last part also we have done such question where cost of goods sold is mentioned, gross profit is mentioned, but no sales is given. So again we'll follow the unitary method over here. But before that, let's first find out the working capital, which is current assets minus current liability. So current assets consist of 3,10,000 of inventory, 1,30,000 of trade receivables, and 20,000 of cash. From this, trade payables of 60,000 is deducted. So amount of working capital is rupees 4 lakh. Now let us assume that the total sales is rupees 100. Gross profit is given as 24. So the cost of goods sold will be, or the cost price is 100 minus 24, that is rupees 76. Now following the unitary method, if cost of goods sold is 76 rupees, revenue from operation is rupees 100. If cost of goods sold is rupees 30 lakh 40,000, so the amount of revenue from operation will be 100 divided by 76 into 30 lakh 40,000, which will give us rupees 40 lakh. That is, the total sales is rupees 40 lakh. So working capital turnover ratio formula, net sales divided by working capital. So our net sales is 40 lakh. So 40 lakh divided by working capital is 4 lakh. That will give us 10. So the answer is 10 times. Now question number 77. Calculate working capital turnover ratio. Here, cost of revenue from operation, again cost of goods sold is given as 12 lakh. Gross profit is 20% revenue from operation, that is 20% of sales. Share capital is 5 lakh. General reserve 1,50,000. Surplus, that is balance in statement of profit and loss, is minus 20,000. That means it's a loss. Long-term borrowings 1,40,000. Long-term provisions 50,000. And non-current assets is 4,20,000. So again here there is no sales mentioned in the question, but we need net sales for the formula. So first let us find out the revenue from operation by the unitary method. So let the revenue from operation be 100. Gross profit is 20. So obviously the cost of revenue from operation will be 100 minus 20, that is rupees 80. So we'll write, if cost of goods sold is rupees 80, revenue from operation is rupees 100. If cost of revenue from operation is, if the cost of goods sold is rupees 12 lakh, the revenue from operation is 100 divided by 80 into 12 lakh, which is rupees 15 lakh. So our net sales is rupees 15 lakh. Now, if you see the question, here in the question, there is no current assets and current liabilities mentioned, but we can see that the whole of liability side is mentioned in the question, assuming that there is no current liabilities. So from the total liability, if I subtract the non-current assets, then what will I get? We will get the current assets. So here what we have done is, first we have added the all components of the liabilities, that is share capital 5 lakh, general reserve 1,50,000, surplus which was a negative balance of 20,000, long-term borrowings 1,40,000, and long-term provision 50,000. That was giving us rupees 8,20,000. So, and current assets, how to find out current assets? That is, from total liability I'll deduct non-current assets. That is 8,20,000 minus 4,20,000 will give us 4 lakh. Assuming there is no current liability, so the working capital will be current assets minus current liability, which is rupees 4 lakh. So therefore the working capital turnover ratio is net sales divided by working capital. So net sales is 15 lakh divided by 4 lakh will give us 3.75 times as the answer. So our third type of ratio is also completed. See you in the next class. Thank you.